Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick with me? Famous scenes with drama queens and heroes acting out there on a silver screen. Come grab a seat, the popcorn is on me.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Hi there, and welcome into Meet Me the Movies. This is Thomas Manning, and today we're welcoming a couple special guests to the show, director Ryan Jacobi and producer Patrick Cotnoir, talking about their documentary, I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff Story, which is a documentary not about George Lucas, but about the improv comedian Connor Ratliff's portrayal of George Lucas in the New York City improv scene, the George Lucas talk show specifically. And so if you have no other context for it, then I think you'll have a fun time going in blind and being introduced to a totally new world. This was my second conversation with Ryan and Patrick. I previously spoke to them when their documentary premiered at the Slamdance Film Festival in January of 2024, and now here we are a couple years later, and the documentary is getting a full physical media release from Kino Lorber with a potentially record-breaking number of special features and audio commentaries. That's right, you can listen to 57 audio commentaries if you get the Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. So we get into all that and more here on Meet Me in the Movies, talking with Ryan Jacobi and Patrick Cotnoir about I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff Story. It was really a pleasure to have the two of them, and hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I'll pitch it right over to the interview now. So, as we were discussing a little bit ago, last time we spoke was January 2024, and y'all had this film at Slam Dance, and y'all been through quite the journey since then. Currently, as we're speaking, it's November 2025, so almost 2 years later, and y'all were on the festival circuit. Then you got distribution, I think, late 2024, and now you're getting this Kino Lorber physical release. So I just love to have the two of you speak a little bit to this journey, and I imagine it's gone in many different directions than you initially anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning of this whole process, going back to December 2018 is when this whole thing kicked itself off. My thing was always like, if we're doing this, we're going to get a physical release. Like, this is going to happen. I'm so sorry if you have other plans, but like, either you make this happen or I make this happen, but it's going to happen. So that's always kind of been the goal. And I think it worked out that we found the right this sounds so professional the way I say it, but I'm like, we found the right partner to make this happen. And it was great. It took a long time because the physical media world is not what it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like it's rapidly changing. And I think we're in a place where it's coming back a little bit because people are seeing that things can just get pulled from streaming at any time and can be taken off the internet and you just can't see it anymore. So I think it's starting to lead to this revitalization of Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, whatever. And we got connected with Kino after talking to a few companies, and we were basically like, we have a lot of stuff that we want to put on this. And the people who have seen this movie, who wanted to see this movie, either probably rented it or saw it in a theaters. Like, a lot of those people have already seen it. So we need to make this special and we need to make this worth it for the people who haven't seen it or the people who have seen it but want more. And I think we put enough stuff on this to make it exciting for those people. But it's been a long process, just like trying to find the right people to agree to all of our insane demands, 2 discs, as much stuff as you can possibly fit on there, digital bonus features. Like, it's the biggest stumbling block was the 2 discs, I feel like, because a lot of people were like, monetarily, it doesn't make sense for us to do this. It gets expensive and, all that kind of thing. But Kino was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And there was really almost no pushback on it, which ruled. There was almost no pushback on anything we pitched them this whole time. I would like send a deranged email at like 3 a.m, just being like, what if we did this? And they'd be like, yeah, okay, great. How do you want to do it? And that was very exciting to me and to the rest of the team, I think. Yeah, sorry. That was a long, rambly answer.
We're all about long, rambly answers here. So, yeah. But Ryan, yeah, go for it.
I was thinking, yeah, the thing about us this whole way through is that we commit to the bit. No matter what we're doing, you, me, Connor, Anna Maria, Marsh, our whole team, Rob, everything we're doing, we're like, if we're gonna do this, let's really do it. And I remember we were out in LA at one of the Alamo Drafthouse screenings, and afterwards we were joking about what if we could break the world record for most commentaries. And it went from joke to no, we're gonna do this within about 30 seconds. And Patrick, I just saw your brain going like, no, who are we going to get? I know
Mm-hmm.
30 people off the top of my head, and we have the fans, and so then there it was. And that's just it's been such a fun process this whole way through of staying playful and yeah, just whatever is the most us, whatever is the most version of the thing, we have to do it. And so yeah, I enjoyed basically curating a bunch of the bonus materials, like the deleted scenes and the extended interviews. And I did that, and I want to say 2023, which Anna Maria, our producer, told me like, Ryan, you better do this as soon as we're done with the film because you're still in the thick of it. So you're going to know exactly what people are going to want to see. And so by the time it came around to make the actual thing, I was just like, Patrick, here's everything. Here's a giant folder, and now it's up to you to curate this massive amount of stuff. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very fun for me, having been so in the weeds on this project every step of the way, to just be like CC'd on all these emails at 3 a.m. that Patrick is talking about. Just be like, wow, these guys are doing it. Great. I don't have to do anything from this point on. This is like Patrick's baby. So yeah, this whole Blu-ray thing for me was very fun to witness too.
Yeah, and all you have to do is look behind me and see my stack of DVDs and Blu-rays to know how important physical media is to me. And I
Yeah.
think it's extremely important to each of us in different ways. But for the two of you, are there ways that you can pinpoint how physical media has formed your relationship with art and further developed your appreciation for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think really early on, we had a lot of VHSs growing up, but once the DVDs started coming onto the market and coming into my household, it really changed things just because, it had so much like making of things for movies or for TV shows. And that was sort of what really made me want to get into the industry in whatever small pocket of the industry I'm in right now. And it just became more available to you. You could get the Larry Sanders The Complete Series at a time when Max streaming did not exist. And all these shows were not available to you. And I think we're at a time now where like there's a lot of stuff on streaming. You can obviously find, I'm just literally looking at my shelf right now. You can find Party Down streaming, but in 2 months, their contract might run out with Hulu and it'll be gone for another year. And you're like, well, I can't watch Party Down. Well, guess what, guys? I can watch Party Down because it's on my shelf. And being able to have these things at my fingertips when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, years old was huge. I remember watching the making of stuff for Shrek and for Indiana Jones and for the Harry Potter movies and all of these things where like it opens up this whole world to you because like yeah, you see prop maker in a credits, but like you vaguely know what they do, but getting to like see all these people talk to you in behind the scenes footage and like go through step by step how do I do this thing that I do was so huge for me. And I know that it was something where like I would be more likely to buy something if it had making of documentaries or commentaries or whatever on there because I was so obsessed with the movies and how movies are made and how things get put together that it became sort of something that I knew I needed to own. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings guy, just in general. Like movies, books, it's just not really my thing. But those making ofs are indelible into my life. Like I like them so much more than I like the movies. And it's something that like I've watched those so many times. I've watched all of it like 3 to 4 times probably in the last decade, which is a lot. And it's a comfort food for me. And I think I wanted to make this Blu-ray sort of a comfort food for people who like this show because there's over 100 hours of bonus features on there. There's 57 audio commentaries. Like a lot of people on our subreddit have been like, a lot of people, a few people on our subreddit have been like, you could watch this movie every single week for over a year and never have the same experience because you're watching a different commentary with it. And I think that rules so hard, you know? Um, And there's like hours of footage there, extended interviews and full shows from 2019 that like have never been put online and no one's ever really seen unless they were in the room. And that to me, if I was a fan of this or a fan of comedy in general or a fan of documentaries even, like that would be so exciting to me because it's such a specific thing and such a weird documentaries are such a weird art form that like you get, 35 seconds of so and so getting interviewed in a documentary, and you're like, well, that person's interesting. Like maybe they said a bunch of stuff that was interesting that just like didn't fit the theme of this. Let me go on here. Oh, wow, there's 35 minutes of them talking now about whatever this weird thing is that I'm into. That rules. And I think that was what really like got me going because I was like, let's just see how much stuff we can cram on here. And we had two 50 gig discs, what is it, dual layered 50 gig discs, I think was what it was, which is like the most Blu-ray can be. And we really like literally they were like, we do not have more space. This is the most we've ever put on a movie before. And I think that's what physical media, what excites me the most about physical media is just like, yeah, I'll spend $25 and get 100 hours worth of stuff. Like I would do that for literally almost any movie. If any movie came out and they were like, we have 100 hours of bonus features on Wicked for Good, I would be like, all right, sign me up. Haven't even seen the movie, but I'll buy it because what does that even mean? Um, so yeah, I mean, you can't see my wall right now, but it is very similar to yours in that it just takes up the whole thing.
Yeah, bonus features on physical media was my film school before I went to film school. And I think Patrick and I have talked a lot about how we have a mutual love for the documentary that came out with the Phantom Menace. What was it called? The
The
Beginning?
beginning. Yeah, the beginning
Yeah,
rules.
it's so good. And it's like they'll never make a doc like that again. I
Mhm.
think they had sort of a fly on the wall access to things. And what's funny is as a kid, I thought it looked so fun, but I feel like if you watch it again now, it's like George is just exhausted and
Yeah.
upset for so much of the doc that I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought filmmaking was supposed to be so fun, but I did. I just kind of like bypassed all of the grueling, tedious parts of it that they very much went over in that doc. But yeah, in general, I love physical media. I actually love both the Lord of the Rings movies and the Lord of the Rings special features. And that was, very comforting to watch. I remember, whenever I was like having like a sick day or something, I'd be like, let me just throw on the Lord of the Rings, special features. And I would obsessively watch, especially anything that came on a Star Wars, the Blu-ray set. There was what was it, like the Empire of Dreams
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
feature.
like a 3 hour documentary or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give me all that. Give me all of it.
So,
There's also to hop in. There's so many making of Star Wars documentaries that have been put out on various forms of home media, but don't get ported over into everything. And I think Lucasfilm, if you're listening, Disney, if you're listening, you would make so much money when they release the inevitable full 4K Skywalker saga, and they're like, we have every documentary that's been released. Like, if they could figure that out, people would quadruple dip or however many times they bought these movies. Like it just feels easy to get from Star Wars to Jedi or the creature one from Return of the Jedi. Like there's so many of these really rad documentaries with behind the scenes stuff that like hasn't really been seen officially since 1982 or whatever.
yeah.
And I didn't want to have that on ours. I was like, we're putting literally everything that exists in here.
All right. Well, I hope you all are enjoying this conversation with Ryan Jacobi and Patrick Cotnoir talking about I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff story, and the Blu-ray release of that documentary from Kino Lorber. We're going to take a quick break here on Meet Me in the Movies, and we'll be right back.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and
As
watch
Cleveland
a
County's premier event facility, LeGrand Center is the ideal location for any event. The LeGrand Center is located 45 minutes west of Charlotte, 45 minutes north of Spartanburg, and just a little over an hour east of Asheville. Whether you're a small business looking for a place for an off-site meeting or a bride looking for that special location for her wedding, LeGrand Center is the perfect place for you.
Washington Outreach Ministries is one of the largest emergency food pantry in Cleveland County. We feed about 15,000 people a month. We have bi-weekly distribution every other Friday, and we serve them with all type of product, not just food product, but all type of necessities. Anything that they need, we have here and we can supply it. Food is available every day, but we offer bi-weekly distribution so the mass of Cleveland County can come through and enjoy some of the food products that we have here.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
All right, well, welcome back to Meet Me in the Movies. This is Thomas Manning, and we are talking with the filmmakers behind the documentary I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff Story. We're talking with director Ryan Jacobi and producer Patrick Cotnoir about the dozens and dozens of commentaries to be found on the physical release from Kino Lorber for this documentary. Hope y'all are enjoying the conversation, and thank you so much for sticking around. I will pitch it right back to the interview. Yeah, so of the 30 or so commentaries you have on here and other more and more
Thomas,
hours
there's
of
50.
extended...
Thomas, there's 57 commentaries.
Is it 57? Okay, because I was reading
30. There's 30 on the disc. There's 27 digitally that you get digital when you get that. And I want to make that very clear because Kino, I'm coming for you, Kino. They've been promoting this as 30 commentaries, and that is not true. There are 57 commentaries on this.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did notice a bit of a discrepancy in what Kino had said and then what I'd seen y'all promote. So, okay, of the nearly 60 commentaries,
there you go.
Are there any of those that I'm sure it would be like picking a favorite child, but anything that really stands out in there that you think just epitomizes your mission of those commentaries, or it can be a handful, but I'm just curious, there anyone that you would recommend, like every listener seeks that one out?
Yeah, I mean, this release is kind of a treat for me too, because I haven't even listened to all of them. So, and you know what? It's out now, so there's nothing we could do about it. But the one that I love the most that I listened to a bunch of was Brian J. Jones, who wrote George Lucas: A Life, which is the as close to being an official biography as you can get about it. And he takes it from like a really scholarly perspective, as if it's like an official biographer doing a commentary on a biopic or whatever it is. I just remember I scrolled to one point and it was him talking and he was like, Connor's here with his dad right now, and Connor's relationship with his dad is so much unlike George's relationship with his dad. George and his dad didn't get along. Connor, and it was just like, it was like he had done research about this while he was talking, and that makes me laugh so hard. But I wanted everyone to do something different because I didn't want everyone to do the Schwarzenegger thing of like, and now I'm walking down the stairs and I'm walking down the hallway and I'm going to see the girl right now, like the just describing what is on the screen. So I was told everyone, I was like, do whatever you want, have fun with it, talk about the movie, talk about whatever you want. And Travis McElroy from My Brother and Me, I know just reads the full Entourage wiki page in full. Because that was what he wanted to do. It's just top to bottom the Entourage Wikipedia page. I think that's very funny. So if you want to learn about Entourage, you can listen to that one. And then there's some, like Connor's improv group, The Stepfathers, Shannon O'Neill, Sebastian Canelli, and Alex Dixon, are just like kind of Mystery Science theatering it a little bit, kind of like ripping on everybody a little bit, which I think is really fun. I think it's like a fun one to listen to. But then we also have like one's from fans, so you just get a different perspective than you would get from like someone who actually knows Connor, because these are just people who like really like the show during lockdown. And I tried to like throw a few of them together on, I think it's like 4 different tracks or something like that. So you get, everyone has a different perspective on it. You have past guests, you have people who worked on the stage show, you have people who worked on the live stream show, fans. My mom does one with me. Like there's Ryan or Rob Malone, the editor, and I do one where we just call a bunch of people, which I think is fun. So there's one with like 15 people on it because we just like call whoever we want to on our phone. So it's truly like a bunch of different perspectives, but the Brian J. Jones one sticks out for me personally.
Awesome. Yeah, Patrick, I know you said you haven't even watched or listened to all 57 of them yourself, but I do have a good buddy who he's making that his mission to do so, and hopefully put together an essay on it. So, stay tuned for that developing story. So
I'm so ready. I'm so ready. This version is actually a special edition. This Blu-ray
Amazing.
is
Sure.
different. It's different than the version that premiered at Slam Dance. Ryan, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Is that okay?
Go for it. I'm so used to this story now. I'm just
No, I
yeah,
know,
go
I
for
know,
it.
but it's I think it's worth telling. There's a shot when Connor goes back to Missouri and they're like driving down the main drag to and they see the Capitol and all that. And the audio is Connor saying, "This is Missouri Boulevard. It's a really important street for me," and all that stuff. But the shot was not Missouri Boulevard. So Connor made them change it after the premiere because he said he didn't want to look stupid if people from Missouri saw that and knew that it was not. So this technically is already a special edition. So if we can get a super special edition, I would love that.
Well, I will confess, I still have the original screener saved on my Vimeo watch later. So I guess
Aha.
I'm in possession of both the
Rare.
original, yeah, and super edition, now the special edition. So yeah, I'm in rare territory.
I love it.
But
That's great.
yeah. But I'm glad you mentioned the Missouri aspect of Connor's upbringing. Obviously, coming from rural America, not he didn't directly grow up in the New York comedy scene, and he made his way there later on. And I think for the two of you, y'all probably don't share that in common with him. Have
Mhm.
y'all lived in kind of more city areas for most of your life? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Connecticut, the like suburban northern part of Connecticut, which isn't super suburban, but I moved out to go to college in New York, so I got out when I was 18. But it was a lot. I worked on a farm in high
Right,
school.
right. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but got out, got to New York about as quickly as I could.
Yeah.
Um, so I,
But yeah, I'm curious about your perspectives and seeing someone like Connor come from a background like that and then really make his dreams come true, and
yeah.
just what it was for you to capture that journey and see it from your own eyes.
I mean, it's kind of the dream, isn't it? It's kind of the like, it's
The
the
Luke
Muppet
Skywalker
movie.
working on
It's
a
the
It's
on a
Luke
kind of
moisture
the Luke
farm.
story
Skywalker.
Yeah,
now.
It's the
Yeah.
yeah. It's the like, small guy comes from a small place and then realizes that like he wants to do this and he can do this and he's trying to figure out any way that he can to like make it happen. And I think that this movie captures that in a really nice way. Getting to talk to his parents and you actually getting to like see the town instead of just talking about the town is very important. Um, because you can actually like a lot of people I imagine can relate to that. Like, it looks like a suburb and it looks like there's not a ton, he found the ways to make it work when he was a kid doing theater and doing his dad's TV show and all that stuff, but it's definitely so different from what happens as soon as he moves to quote unquote the big city or, goes to London or whatever. Um but that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he goes to Missouri and gets to see that. I would watch 10 more hours of that. And you can on the Blu-ray. I'm just kidding.
It's true. Yeah. We have a bit more Missouri stuff. But yeah,
Yes.
my version of that is I grew up in Staten Island, which is the forgotten borough, the fifth borough of New York City. So and it was very suburban where I lived. And so there's not really any parallels to Connor. But within the New York City like borough system, that's as close as it gets to like seeing on the horizon the big city and having dreams and yeah, but Connor's was a little more dramatic and um, he's as far as I know like still loves living where he lives in New York. Like
Hmm.
this is his home. This he's a New Yorker through and through.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's something that I can relate to very directly because where I'm zooming from right now, we have a population of it's either 2,000 to 4,000, depending on if school's in session. It's a college town, so it's definitely a far cry from the New York cities of the world. But
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah. But looking more to the Blu-ray itself, yeah, I have it right here, as you can see. So, I didn't just set this up to talk about something that I had not purchased. I've got it right here.
He's a real
But
fan.
yeah, but I'd love to talk about the design of the package itself, the cover art. I
Yeah.
think, see, your cover art is from Justin Ridge, I believe.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the importance of supporting artists like that and just the significance of cover art in general, which is increasingly becoming a lost art.
It is. It's definitely becoming a lost art. A lot of times you get the same key art that's either just the poster or art that you see everywhere when it comes to that movie. But yeah, so Justin was a storyboard artist, concept design artist, director on Clone Wars, and then worked on Rebels and co-created Resistance, which was another animated Star Wars show. He worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender with Filoni, and then got in on the Star Wars animation train. But during COVID, he became a fan of the live stream, and we met. And he's rad, and he offered up his services to do this. And having the poster on the front of the DVD or Blu-ray is always really cool, but also at the same time, it's like, let's get a fresh thing on here. And if you have the Blu-ray in front of you, it's a double-sided thing. So if you like the poster, you can have the poster on the front. If you like Justin's art, you can have Justin's art on the front.
Something that a theme that is prevalent throughout the entire documentary and also the career of George Lucas is the matter of failure. And I'm curious for each of you personally, how did making this documentary, challenge what you thought about the concept of failure, whether that be, personally, professionally, or creatively, or a combination?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all still struggle with that every day, I assume. But it's definitely something where it's like you push through it and you find the thing that you're supposed to be doing. They talk about the Deadeye stuff, of course, with Tom Hanks firing Connor on Band of Brothers, which gets expanded upon in his podcast. But like that was so long ago, and Connor's done so many things since then. So things seem big in the moment, and then you realize later on that like, well, if that hadn't happened, this wouldn't have happened, then this wouldn't have happened, and like having that in the back of your head of like, it seems like a big deal, but it's not a big deal right now. I think is very important, and trying to work on that as much as I can. Talk to my therapist,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something, again, we have in common is we're all very ambitious people. Everyone who worked on this documentary is kind of wildly ambitious. Like we said, we commit to the bit. And so this documentary was a way of kind of exploring for myself this obsession I didn't realize I had with with success and failure. And then seeing Connor move through it almost like calmed me down about my own life to where I kind of took on his philosophy of you can't really fail if you do what you love. If you like
hmm
give your whole heart to something, there's different levels of achievement possible when you do that. And we're shooting for the best. Like Connor is a very ambitious guy to this day. Like, I hope the documentary paints that properly because he's not just doing it only for the fun of it, but he doesn't have attachment to outcomes. He'll be like, okay, it didn't work. What's next?
Yeah.
And so that's something I really took with me moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as we wrap up here on Meet Me in the Movies, I want to thank again Ryan Jacobi and Patrick Cotnoir for sharing their time with us and all of their energy and their passion that they put into creating this project, but also in just sharing about it. And you can tell that their love for this knows no bounds. So I really do appreciate them and was glad to have them on Meet Me in the Movies. You can go over to elementsmadness.com to find our previous conversation from a couple years ago. And seek out I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff Story, available now on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. As always, thank you for watching Meet Me at the Movies. We will see you next time, and that's a wrap.
And the sad ones, we'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.